was...
All right, folks, time for your Friday Fail Story.
Yes.
Yeah. So all these people thought they had a perfect plan, but man, somewhere along the line, that perfect plan went completely sideways. Oh, and it became an Uber, an Ultra. Dare I say it? Oh, I'm going to say it. I'm saying it. Mega. Here we go.
Failed.
Wow, man.
You sounded great, boss.
Jeez. Lauren, that was from your soul.
Yeah, dude, you came in hot. Sam Fear joined for a second. That was crazy.
Only we had a flute.
Friday Fail Stories are sponsored by
Moritz Royce Jewelry, the official jeweler of the Rizzuto Show.
So have you ever been caught in a traffic jam behind a car accident? And, man, you could be stuck for a long time. And it's usually pretty boring. But these stranded drivers got an unexpected treat. A tractor-trailer collided with a pickup truck in Canada last week, and the pickup was towing its own trailer, which was packed with fireworks.
Oh, no.
Yep. This was wild for two reasons. One, the fireworks started going off, which caused the lanes of the highway to be cut off. And two, it was 10 p.m., meaning it was dark. So the drivers just sat there for the next hour watching an impromptu fireworks show from the highway. Nobody was seriously hurt, although one driver was taken to the hospital for minor injuries. The authorities are still investigating the crash. The crash is the fail. But that's all. It's a lighthearted one. Thank God nobody was seriously hurt, and they got to watch the fireworks.
I was hiding in the car because I didn't want to get hit by a stray rocket or anything. But yeah, it was just so loud and so huge.
Just as we approached it, boom, all of it started going off again. And we were just like, okay, we just have to slam on the gas and just try to book it through.
The whole highway was backed up.
Yeah, it was definitely scary. It was loud, aggressive.
It was awesome. It's the best fireworks show I've ever seen.
There you go. A driving instructor in the Netherlands was fined after his 17-year-old student was caught speeding on Tuesday.
Hey, wait 1 second. That last quote was, it was the best fireworks I've ever seen. I feel like any surprise fireworks is kind of just like times 10, right? It's always like, oh, I wasn't expecting fireworks. It's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I love it. It just
unexpected fireworks.
That struck me. Yeah, unexpected fireworks are just something special.
So, 17-year-old student in the Netherlands with his driving instructor in the car was caught going 95 and an 80. Okay, and the teacher tried to say that they were just showing the student that speeding doesn't actually save much time. The cops didn't buy it. The instructor was fined $350 for speeding, $250 for reckless driving.
Failed.
You've dreamed of doing this, but no one would actually risk doing this in real life, right? A guy in East Haven, Connecticut got pulled over the other day for putting fake police lights on his car to beat traffic and get to work faster.
I've daydreamed about this.
This is happening weekly now.
Yeah, it is. His name is Michael Marshall. He was trying to get to work. Cops spotted his Dodge Challenger on the highway with red and blue flashing lights. So they ran his plate, saw it was not registered to any law enforcement agency. Michael admitted he was using them to get through traffic, be a little faster on his commute. This was just before 9 a.m. So ironically, he ended up being late for work that day, or more likely, he didn't make it at all. They towed his car, arrested him, released him on a $5,000 bond. He's due in court next week for serious charges for impersonating a police officer.
Failed.
I just want the movement of getting one of those lights. You got it down by your left leg, and then you just put it on the hood of the car with the magnet.
Yeah, and then watch the C's part.
Yeah, but I want to be like nefarious about it. I just want to have that moment. I'm adding that to my bucket list.
To put a
red light
on the car.
I have it in there.
The magnet light.
Hit it. Yep.
It's got to be some old ass, Caprice or something. Though.
This is,
right.
I gotta say,
not a Caprice, even older.
Now we can roll that all into one thing. Me and Moon get in the General Lee, peel out.
Oh, yes.
Learns driving, puts the siren on. You hop in the back, say, follow that car. Boom. That's
No, you jump into Boss Hogg's car with the horns on the front and say, follow those cars.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
A tourist sparked a bomb alert at a restaurant in Portugal when he confused the Portuguese words for pomegranate and grenade while attempting to order a drink. So the 36-year-old guy, a Russian speaker from Azerbaijan, found himself handcuffed and surrounded by armed police after a language app gave him the wrong translation for the fruit juice he was trying to buy. This poor dude, used his phone to translate the Russian word for pomegranate and then wrote a sentence in Portuguese so staff at the restaurant could understand his drink order. But the waiter read the note as a threat, thinking the customer had a grenade, called the police. The guy was taken to a nearby police station for like a big-time interrogation, later released after it was found he was not in possession of any weapon. They even tore apart his hotel room.
Damn.
So a police spokesman said officers were called to the restaurant and arrested the suspect as he tried to leave the establishment before carrying out a thorough inspection of the premises. And I guess, so the words for pomegranate and grenade are the same in the Russian language. However, in Portuguese, they're two separate words, with Roma meaning pomegranate and granada translating to grenade, a distinction that may have been lost during the language's app translation.
Yeah.
Failed.
I'd say so.
Whoops. A man was recently caught smuggling 5 liters of dog semen through a major seaport. The unnamed suspect was stopped at the port of Buenos Aires in Argentina.
Can we just be honest? That's a tired dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is a
That's a
tired dog.
In my mind, what were you
I
saying?
was going to say this is the second day in the road, or maybe this week, that we have had semen smugglers.
It's safe
Semen
to
smugglers.
say that dog is sleeping.
Well, we had a horse semen. No, it was a bull semen stolen.
Right.
Because
A vat.
a trailer full of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now this.
And now this.
I hope this guy was smuggling this dog semen in a big barrel on a collar around his neck.
Oh, yeah,
The
like a
old St. Bernard.
Bernard.
Just a little cork in it.
Yeah, so-
What if it's a tiny dog that's just been working it for 6 months?
And now he's got it taken away from him. So he stopped at the port of Buenos Aires in Argentina after traveling by sea from Uruguay. During a routine scan, customs agents detected a suspicious package in one of the 2 backpacks the guy was carrying. When asked about the package, the man said, I'm not carrying anything. I have nothing to declare, gentlemen. Well, the item was seized by customs officials for violating Article 979 of the country's customs regulations. The importation of animal reproductive material requires a certificate of veterinary inspection, and he didn't have that. Frozen canine semen is typically used to preserve a male dog's genetics for breeding purposes. So probably going to one of these puppy mills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Dude, we rescued. I rescued.
he's in trouble.
Well, I wouldn't say rescued. Somewhat rescued.
Failed.
That Chihuahua I always talk about that I love so much. He was living at my father-in-law's at the time, and it was a smoker's house, and we didn't know, nobody knew that he had asthma real bad. The dog did. So he was just, and he wasn't neutered or nothing, and he was just obnoxious, dude. I hated this dog. When I go over there,
Yeah.
it was the worst, dude. I was like, maybe I hate Chihuahuas. This dog sucks.
Oh, they're so cute.
He was
You're
just
allowed to hate dogs.
He was always
Nasty
like,
ones.
dude. He was always just making all these sounds. He just sounded miserable. He was just a jerk.
Wheezing.
He was constantly. He wasn't a jerk, but he was constantly
Stupid
coming
asthmatic
up.
Chihuahua.
No, he was coming up and he would sneeze and snort and do all this nastiness and he had all this gunk and crap on him, and he was always humping. And I mean everything.
Yeah.
And this dog had a bunch of toys and all. They had stuffed animals all over the place. No kids living there, but for the dog. And every one of them was crusty. Dude,
So he got to the finish line with
because this dog just crusted. He crusted out.
Nothing is safe.
And, it was, and I was just like, this is the nastiest animal I've ever been around. Turns out, we took him home once because, and he had the worst breath. I can't even describe how many things were wrong
Anyway.
with this dog. Yeah. So, anyways, took him home,
story.
and we take him to the vet, and we realized okay, so he hadn't had shots in his 7 years of life. He had asthma so bad, and he was really suffering in this smoker's house, and he had 9 teeth that had already fully rotted out and needed 6 more taken out. So we go to the vet. He gets all these teeth ripped out of his face. He gets his neutered stuff ripped out of his body.
His neuters.
And I was like, you know what? And during the recovery process, I fell in love with this dog, and he became my best bud ever. Never humped anything again, but I just was dumbfounded at the amounts that this tiny little runt of
could
a
produce.
long-haired Chihuahua could crust out. I mean, the whole household was crusted with this dog's fun.
Yeah.
And man, whew, I don't know.
What was the dog's name?
Bernie.
Boo. Oh,
R.I.P.
Boo was the
Burr.
freaking best, dude. Boo was
Sweet
Boo was my best friend for a long time there. I needed him and he needed me, and we were best buds. I took him on tour. He pooped on the Golden Gate Bridge. He hiked Yellowstone with me.
R.I.P..
Oh man, best dog.
This is one way to make your marijuana extra dank.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
The TSA recently caught a woman trying to sneak some weed past them by hiding it inside her adult diaper. A checkpoint scanner flagged her groin area. The agents did a pat down and some additional screening, and the woman, was found to have baggies of marijuana tucked inside the adult diaper. Maybe she thought she'd get away with it if it wasn't smelled by a dog or something, and maybe she thought the sensitive area might decrease the chances of that. It didn't work. It's also unclear if the diaper was clean.
What, she read a book about smuggling drugs from like 1978?
Well, marijuana is still illegal under federal law and is not allowed through airport security. The TSA posted a photo of the pot and the diaper online. In this case, it let the woman and her mom continue to their flight after tossing the drugs.
Yeah, a lot of the times they'll take it, but don't count on that. Don't bank on it.
I wouldn't count on that.
Law is law.
Yeah, man.
And
Failed.
I'm willing. I just got dogged somewhere. Was that St. Louis? Or maybe it was Vegas. But like, anybody else get nervous with the dogs? I don't do drugs.
Yeah,
I don't smoke drugs. I got nothing on me.
Past couple times I've been.
I don't do drugs. I don't do alcohol. I don't smoke nothing. I got nothing on me. Yet when I see the dog, I'm always like, oh.
Yeah, past couple times leaving the country or coming back in.
I get nervous.
They're pretty serious about
I get mad.
sniffing you.
Yeah.
Why? Why you get mad?
Because dogs are so cool, man, and I'm always just like, I see him, and I'm like, what are you hanging out with this square for? He's turning you into a narc, dude. You could be hanging out at my house getting your belly rubbed doing coke right now.
He's a task animal. Got to give him a job.
Crime news is always a little more fun this time of year because of these three words: criminals in costumes. A guy in Florida was arrested on Sunday while dressed as a banana. He's a student at the University of Miami, but this happened in Key West. Somebody flagged down a cop and said a man in a banana costume was peeing on the side of the building. So he whipped out his banana while dressed as a banana, which is kind of funny.
Two bananas.
The banana turned out to be a 20-year-old named Kyle. And the dumbest part was he was right across the street from a row of porta potties. And it must have been a long pee because he was still going when the cops walked up to him.
What?
Then Kyle took off, started running in a zigzag pattern to make it harder to catch him.
Because he thinks they're alligators.
Another cop managed to grab him by the peel, apparently. Honestly, Kyle twisted away, but they eventually got him into custody, facing charges for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. And yes, he was still in his banana costume when they took his mugshot.
Good.
Failed.
Man, I want to see that mugshot really bad.
Yeah, you just see the banana cop, like you could see like he's
Is
got
his
the
face still in the hole?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
If you didn't know, you can't just park on a road. You know, you can't just, like wherever you want, just, here, I'm parking here.
You can't just
park here.
Kings Highway begs to differ. Don't know if you've ever seen a Sunday on Kings Highway where they just make the right lane church parking, but they do it.
Oh, they do it?
It's crazy,
Really?
man. You'll just be driving 3 lanes of traffic, full speed down Kings Highway. There's a Catholic church across from Tower Grove Park, and they just start parking on the. It's just
No
like
kidding.
parallel parking.
I feel like 70
It's
up by Lucas and Hunt is a temporary
parking lot?
Temporary parking lot for some.
Well, a 32-year-old guy from Michigan was pulled over last Thursday because he'd parked his car in the middle of the road. Not a highway, it was a country road, but still, it was a road, not a parking lot. Cops approached the guy, and he asked them what the problem was. They asked why he was parked there. And he said he was smoking pot and thought he was being followed. He also said he had meth in the car. And the cops found over 35 grams of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia. The guy was arrested, looking at several charges, including possession of meth with intent to deliver.
Failed.
And finally, a guy accused of joeing while walking around a Target in Iowa had an interesting explanation for his public pleasure session. Sir, I was only playing with the dildo in my shorts.
Of course.
Duh, and that happens to be no mine.
Despite that convincing explanation, 25-year-old...
Wait, that's no mine.
Yeah, that's.
I'm playing with something, but it's no mine.
It's holding it for a friend.
It's fake.
It is mine, but not the real one.
Right.
Again, despite the convincing explanation, 25-year-old Deshaun Brown was arrested for indecent exposure. Deshaun was caught on camera, quote, touching his clothed genitalia as well as his exposed penis at the Target.
Oh.
Cops say that he's done this before. Back in July, he was sentenced to 2 years probation for indecent exposure and is on Iowa's sex offender registry. When he was questioned by police about the latest incident, Deshaun claimed to have a stashed sex toy. However, video evidence, quote, suggests the phallic object in his hand was indeed connected to his person.
Fail.
What does that mean?
It was his penis.
He was leveling up because he had already gone with his actual penis. And
No, he really didn't have a dildo in his pants. It was just he really was.
I thought you were saying
Actual.
that he had one out.
No,
and then
it was his actual penis. But he said, no, this is a dildo. So I'm not.
If I didn't already have my podcast title.
I wasn't doing that. I'm playing with my dildo.
At the target.
Oh, sir, a dildo is a fake penis. Okay, turns out I don't know what dildo means.